guess the message you're going to hear over and over today is that help is available to every homeowner who's suffering through some difficult times. It may be just in the form of advice, but during stressful financial times, that may be the most valuable thing that you can be offered. The first order of business, though, that I want to make sure everybody understands is don't be embarrassed. There's no reason to be embarrassed that you're suffering through difficulty. There's no reason to feel uncomfortable with it. There's no reason to feel foolish. This has happened. This economy that we're in right now in home ownership is affecting many, many people. It extends to all social stratospheres. It is something that affects lenders. It's something that affects families. It's something that we're all concerned with, and everyone in the world should be empathetic through. So just get over the feeling of discomfort, get over the feeling of being uncomfortable with discussing it, and just try to deal with it. That's the message that we're trying to get out to everyone today, because there is help out there, and there is people who want to step up and help you guide your way through your difficult times. You know, it could happen to anybody. You could have a loss of a job, you could have a poor tenant, you could have illness in a family, the bills could be mounting on you. It happens. It simply happens. The thing that concerns me the most, though, as a mortgage lender, is that when it does happen and people recognize it, they do not deal with it. It is a very, very uncomfortable situation. I'll just give you an example. I was a consultant with a very large servicer. They would send out bills, they would send out letters, they would send out information packets that were asking people who are suffering with delayed payments and with mortgage payments that were late, they would simply want to know, why aren't people communicating with us? What is going on out there? They actually sent out a letter to these folks, and it was really a small trial package just to evidence what they already knew. And they actually sent out a letter that said, please call us. We have a $5,000 grant available to help you with your difficulty. You want to know that they received no telephone calls. The proof of that is, what that did prove is that people are getting the mail, and when the mail comes in and you step into the house and you see the pile of envelopes there and they're all bills, people aren't opening it. So I guess the most important message today is that you need to communicate. You need to ask for help. You need to make the phone calls that you heard everyone else at this podium discuss with you already, because it's out there and it's available. Financial stress is very debilitating. You know, we all know that, but you need to communicate, and you need to ask for help. The first call you should make, as you've heard already, the very first call is to the servicer. The servicer is there to help you. They do not want to own your house. I mean, a lot of people put down very minor down payments when they bought a house. The servicer may be in California, Florida, Texas. They do not want to own your house. They want to help you. But in order to help you, they need to talk to you. And in order to talk to you, you really need to reach out to them and be persistent. They don't want your house, and they are willing to do any number of things that are going on today. So I guess I'll just repeat a few of them so I can give you enough energy to get on that phone and be persistent. Number one, there are many, many servicers, and actually the government is asking them to do it, who are freezing adjustable rate mortgages. So if you are suffering already with your payment and you are going to get an adjustment, that adjustment may affect your payment by $300, $400, $500 a month. If you simply communicate with the lender, I can't tell you, many, many times they will actually freeze the payment at what it used to be, as opposed to making you suffer even further with an increased payment on an ARM adjustment. And the government is, in the state of New Jersey and the federal government, is encouraging lenders to do that. If you call up and you suffered with something temporary, loss of a job, an illness, and you are behind a month or 2 months on your mortgage payment, and there's a reasonable expectation that that was a temporary situation and that you could work your way out of it, they'll tack that payment onto the end of your mortgage, thereby not accumulating further and further late payments. But you need to communicate with people. They are offering a lot of help to people who've just elected to sell their home. I mean, there is something you're going to hear over and over again in this industry, which is a short sale. Short sale, in very simple terms, means that I realize that I can no longer afford to own my home, so I've elected to sell it. The market value may not be the same as the amount of money I owe. So I owe $200,000, but the market value of my home is only $180,000. Believe it or not, if you elect to sell your house and that is the true market value, many lenders will accept a payment that's significantly less than what you owe them. And that's called a short sale. But I've mentioned a number of things that the lender will work with you, but you need to communicate. You know, we often hear the phrase, "The meek shall inherit the earth." The persistent will get to keep their house. You need to be persistent. You need to make phone calls. I'm telling you, as Mr. Hunter said before, they are being overwhelmed. But who they want to help is those that are trying to help themselves. It's very simple. If you are sitting on the phone and if you're waiting 20 minutes to make your way through to the counselor on the other end of the servicer, they know you're the one who is likely to work things out. You are the one who struggled enough on that telephone call to have the benefit of the doubt to be able to offer one of these 3 or 4 items that they are offering to their people in order to help them in these difficult times. So you need to communicate. Second call you need to make. That's the first call is to the lender. Second call is to the credit counselor, and we're going to hear a lot more about that later on. Third call is that you need to call another lender. You need to get someone else's advice on what you can do. Lenders, there are many lenders out there who may be more aggressive and may have programs available to you that the original lender did not have. I can give you a couple of, I'll give you the perfect example, a reverse mortgage. If you are over 62 years old and you have equity in the house, you can get a reverse mortgage through the FHA and never have to make another mortgage payment. I cannot tell you how many people in the United States who are over 62 years old, who are suffering today, who may even lose their home in foreclosure, who never pick up the phone and say, talk to me about a reverse mortgage. Can that help me? And it is a wonderful program that's sponsored by the federal government. So be persistent and communicate. Next thing you need to do is to sit at the kitchen table. Our parents have done it. They sat at the kitchen table and they said, how much can I afford to pay for my house every month? Don't listen to what other people told you could afford. That's what got you in trouble the first time. You need to sit at the kitchen table, spread the bills out, suffer for the hour and a half with the family, sit down there, maybe bring in some other people who are part of your family or other people who are personal friends. People, this is not something to be embarrassed about. Spread the bills out and come to some conclusion. What is it that I could afford to pay in the course of every month to put a roof over my head and house my family? It's a fairly simple process, but we all ask someone else to tell us. We all ask someone else to qualify us. This is something that you can do on your own, and it doesn't require any education. It doesn't require any mortgage banking experience. You really need to just do it on your own, because that evaluation process is going to tell you, what do I do next? How much can I afford next? The last and most important item is probably the most difficult. And I'm telling everybody, and I'll be the guy delivering the bad news. You have to make a decision. I cannot tell you how many people are suffering with mortgage payments and with housing struggles who just simply elect not to decide what to do. They let somebody else tell them what to do. You need to come up with a plan. And a plan is really only going to have 1 of 3 components on it. So I'll make it fairly simple for you on deciding what the plan is. You own a home, you have 3 choices. You can elect to keep it because you've come up with an agreement with your lender that you really believe you can fulfill. You have to sell it because you've come to the conclusion that this is not something that is in the cards for you or your family. It is too difficult for you to afford, and it's affecting your health and the rest of your lifestyle. Or 3, somebody's going to decide for you, and it's going to eventually turn into a foreclosure. And that's what you do not want to happen. So it is extremely important that you take all 3 of these phases, sit down, spend the evening with you and your family, sit down at the kitchen table, and come to a conclusion. So you're going to communicate, you're going to evaluate, and you're going to have to decide. And that's the 3 things that need to happen, and it's very important. We can't stress it over and over because there is a tremendous amount of help out there for you and your difficulties. So persistence with a plan is going to work. There are solutions out there. The lenders are really willing to work with you, and you just need to step up and make a decision for you and your family what's best. I would like to thank the mayor, and I would like to thank the Department of Banking for having us here this evening, because this is the fun part of our job, helping people help.